the NAFTAA Podcast.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
NAFTAA Podcast, episode 210, I believe. We're up there. You got myself, you got Michael, and you got an apology coming from me. We're totally off schedule, totally off kilter. Blame my ACL. ACL surgery. The recovery's been honestly pretty good, but I can tell you this, the last thing I want to do with a fucked up knee is record a podcast, edit it, and all that stuff. So I've been putting it off. Because of that, we're in a little bit of an awkward time frame and scenario based on some results that happened, which we'll talk about in a second. First things first, if you are listening to the pod, like, subscribe, share. We're on YouTube. We're on wherever you get your podcasts. We have an Instagram. We have a TikTok that hasn't been updated in a little bit, maybe one day again. But give us a follow, give us your thoughts, and share it with a friend, obviously. Second thing, Michael. Neither one of us are going to be happy on this episode.
Yeah, I mean, some of us are going to be more happy than others, I think.
Also, Michael calling in because his laptop had a fight with water and I think lost.
Yeah, we can pose the question to the people, see who's at fault completely.
Paint the picture here.
So we have an island counter in which we often prepare food and put other things, like we put keys, wallets, phones, stuff like that. So I was doing a little bit of work earlier in the day on my laptop, and Morgan and I both have Nalgene's, and as you can see with this Nalgene, completely the contents are inside the Nalgene.
They're encased because the cap's on.
Yes. So we got groceries. We put them on the counter. We were putting stuff away, cleaning up stuff, and I was moving something to grab something to put away in the attempt to clean, and her open Nalgene, so the cap off of this essentially spilled onto my laptop. And I said, "Why is the cap not on?" And she said, "Why is your computer where we prepare food?" And I said, "We do more than prepare food here. We do other stuff here."
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you think it's even 50-50? Do you think you at least harbor any blame?" And she said, "No." And I just thought that was interesting. I think there's a little bit, because it has a cap.
Can I get a 10?
Put on it.
Can I get a 15?
I couldn't get anything.
So this is my main question, though. Is like,
I have to take a drink after that, though. So hold on, go ahead.
You're good. One of my main questions is like, how long has the Nalgene been capless before this happened?
So, in her words, she put it down without putting the cap on it to clean.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes it worse or better. Truly.
I mean, I think it makes it worse. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to do any physical activity and I'm drinking out of a open air cup, a la a cup with no cap, I finish the contents before I start doing anything because I don't want the contents to eschew.
Well, I will say you put it pretty good when you said if a drive-through gives you a drink with no lid, aren't you kind of like, where's the lid? Like, why? And then if you put it in the cup holder and it spills, you're like, why the fuck didn't they give me a lid?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought I don't even care. I thought it was just crazy that she was like, I have no blame in this at all. Zero. And I was like, okay, I love you. You're good.
It's
anyway,
so funny.
My computer is fucking broken now. That's why I'm on my phone.
Yeah, so tech difficulties, audio difficulties for sure, but we're going to get through the episode regardless. I think it's a good synopsis of what the weekend's games were and then what these midweek games were as well, just because it's like bad day, sad day for everyone involved, essentially, for different reasons, right? So we're gonna get into it. We'll recap the Premier League, chat through two big upsets, a shakeup at the top of the table, and Michael, because we're running at such a deficit right now, I actually think it'd be apropos to just not do dudes of the week.
Yeah, man, this is the thing though. Like, we're not. I don't want to do dudes of the week either. But you saying that makes me think that we can't talk about something outside of soccer.
Okay.
And I just wanted to bring up the only time my aforementioned girlfriend has ever been interested in rap music is right now.
So instead of doing a dudes of the week, should we pose to the listeners again? What side of the Infinity Wars of rap are you on right now?
and I want to just, yes, please answer. I don't even know.
Bang in the comments. Pause.
Yeah, anybody cares that is going to listen to this, but I just want to say, as somebody who has morphed into a Drake hater, over the past like 2 or 3 years, shit was kind of fire. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good. It was pretty good.
The thing that I've been loving on TikTok is everyone's just reaction to how perfectly delivered "shut your hoe ass up and make some beats" has been. Like it's kind of been, it's just kind of a trap, because what is Metro gonna do?
Make some beats.
Exactly.
Well, I told Morgan, because literally before I got on here, we were talking about it, because I was listening to somebody on TikTok, break it down or like just give their opinion. I just like hearing what people say and like their reaction to it, because I just think it's kind of funny. And some of them are like, he said the thing about like the splits in your pants might rip, which is like, as I don't know what their name is on TikTok, but it is a Dr. Seuss ass line.
Yeah, it does. It's Cornball Central.
Yeah, that one in particular, I'm just like, okay, it's it's funny, but it doesn't really need to be there. But they're like, oh shit, oh he got him, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I enjoy that part of it too. But I was like explaining it to her, and I was like, do you understand how much disrespect is in that? In just saying shut your hoe ass up, because at least everyone else got like some kind of witty line, or what's a prince to a king, he's a son, like that's very clever. Literally, to Metro Boomin, the only thing on the entire verse on the entire track that is directed towards him is just telling him to shut his hoe ass up.
Yeah,
which
and
is
do his job.
Mad disrespectful.
It, like, zero brain power, zero brain energy went into it, which is the thing. I will stick by this, and I can't claim this as my own take. It was on a podcast I listened to. At the end of the day, not everyone involved with this, I will take that back, but the three people that started this shit, J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar, these are all three just theater nerds that got a little too close to the sun and now have the biggest platform to act as hard as they can. And I am fully convinced that these are just artistic dweebs letting the art chopper fly, essentially.
I did also again, this is all through the lens of me talking to my girlfriend about it. I was like, I don't think Drake took it to a place where like it's gonna get messy. Like, I don't think his response warranted like Kendrick going nuclear on him. I think he's gonna come back and it's gonna be really good.
I think it's never good to mention someone's wife, is what I've heard. And I think he did that. Also, wait, real quick. Did you hear the AI Kendrick rebuttal?
Yes, it sounded like shit.
Oh, I thought the what he was saying was decent.
Well, what the AI was saying, yes. It sounded terrible, though.
Yeah, sure.
So I agree with the wife thing, because Uh, if you remember, the last time he brought up somebody's wife was Pusha T, and then everyone found out Drake had a kid. So,
Yeah.
hopefully, if he was prepared to do that again, he is not hiding something that is that to that magnitude.
I mean, I'm really hoping that after that event, Drake took a real long, hard look at his team and said, someone's got to do some Oppo research for me. Like someone's
Yeah.
either got to do Oppo research or at least research me so that I can figure out where my flaws are so I know what I'm going to get hit with, right?
Yes.
I don't know, man. Like it's just wild. I love that because everything on TikTok is everyone on TikTok is talking about this. I get to outsource talking points. Like I don't have to think about it. Someone's just telling me how to perceive it and how to take it in. That's been great for me.
Yes. And then to your point, about like the AI Kendrick thing, because there were like two different ones, but the main one that what he was or what the AI was saying was like, oh damn, if this was him, like this would be fire.
Yeah.
Is he's gonna come back with something and it's gonna be like a very, very good diss. He's gonna have a lot of good one-liners. He's gonna have a lot of very good points. I mean, Drake is like, pretty easy target in all reality.
He'll have great ad libs.
Yes. But I will say there's something about a diss track being catchy and repeatable and like you wanting to play it over and over and over again. And it was the same thing with Back to Back. And again, like that wasn't even a contest, but Drake just does a very good job. And it's probably like the pop side of it. He does a very good job of making the song also just good to like fun to listen to.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing where I think Kendrick struggles a little bit because he's such like a poet and a storyteller where it's like it's not like an earworm necessarily all the time. And I think people will be like, oh damn, Kendrick killed him. But like people will still listen to push-ups because like it's so catchy.
So this is the other thing. I know that audio wise, the AI diss track for Kendrick's not there. Like it's not good to listen to. Like it's bad
too
quality.
Much shit
like,
going on. Yeah.
I will say there's a verbal bar that Kendrick also has to hurdle because if the bars that were being spit on the AI are better than his, like he's double dead. Like what are we doing?
No, that's the one thing too where it actually it's kind of like eating your own. Where like if you're a Kendrick stan and you're like, fuck Drake, I'm gonna make an AI diss, and like the AI makes such a good diss that it actually handicaps your favorite artist. Like you fucked up. Like you actually killed your own man.
Friendly fire, just tough.
Yeah, that's not good. Like that's why I'm so anti AI.
Yeah, that's the reason. It's fucking up diss tracks for me.
Yeah, I fuck that, dude.
Glad we talked about that. Now back to soccer. Like I said, it was a tough week. Michael, your tough week happened in the Prem. My tough week happened in the Champions League. I don't even know if we're going to talk about Champions League. We should for a little bit at the end. But let's just run through these. Newcastle shock. Not shock. Newcastle's good. They're just not deep. 4-0 win over Tottenham. Isak in the 30th, Gordon in the 32nd, Isak again in the 51st, and Schär in the 87th. I think the most shocking is that Tottenham just didn't really show up.
Yeah, they actually, so I think the last two times they played at St. James, it's been 10-1 aggregate.
Yeah.
For Newcastle, which is crazy. The problem with, we said this so many times, the problem is like just the inconsistency of teams. And again, like you can seriously go, now you can go 3-12. Like you just don't know any given day if it's going to be really good or really bad. And like there's obviously different degrees. It makes it like the race for fourth so much better though, in my opinion, that they drop points.
Shocking stat.
Points that we'll get to.
Shocking stat. Newcastle scores 4 goals, has 27% possession.
Rather, I'm telling you, I've never seen a season where
possession just doesn't matter.
It does not matter. Like truly, it does not matter.
Yeah, it's been a weird one. Trust me, I've been on the losing end of having 78% possession before. Brentford 2-0 win over Sheffield. Our blaster own goal. What a great name. Own goal in the 63rd minute gave Brentford the lead, and Onyeka with the goal in stoppage time sealed it. This is one team in Sheffield that is definitely going down, and a team in Brentford that needs to win this game. They're starting to actually put the distance between them and the 18th spot. I think they're pretty much safe at this point. So we're gonna have a few of these games in the next coming weeks where it's just like, what are we talking about and what are we playing for here?
Yeah, I actually I think I'll do it tomorrow, or maybe I'll do it after this because I got to stay up till 1 to get our sister from the airport. I want to just get the rest of the games on the year, and then just highlight the ones that should be like very important, like very very important games. I think Brentford probably safe at this point. I would be willing to bet. I haven't looked at the table, but getting this win is obviously huge. And then I know Reguilón was the man of the match in this one. Like, I don't want to pile on, but I know I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Like, why on earth did Manchester United like end his loan? And then he went back to Spurs, and then they loaned him out to Brentford, and he's been doing pretty well. I think he got a red card like a couple games ago, but he's been playing well. Like, he's a good player. Like, I don't understand decision making ever.
Yeah. Neither one of us run a football club, but I'm right there with you. Burnley 1-1 with Brighton. Is Brighton holding the crown most inconsistent team right now? Brownhill had the goal for Burnley. They're actually up 1-0, and then Muric had an own goal in the 79th minute. Yeah, it was tough. Tough. But Brighton's pretty shitty right now. I was going to say, Brighton's pretty shitty right now.
They look terrible. I will literally say somebody on Twitter went back and was just finding people's tweets about like women's soccer and like their goalkeepers like not being very good or like letting a ball go in or whatever and being like, you want us to watch this type shit. And then they just posted the Muric goal and was like, brother, it happens all the time. Like, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know, good point. Insanely bad own goal. Like, the worst own goal I've maybe ever seen.
Yeah, it was disgusting, so to speak.
Yes.
And given where Burnley's at, 2 more points, and then they're only 3 behind Luton, who's only 1 behind Forest. And then you start thinking, all right, is Burnley going to get a little frisky? But that 5-point gap to Luton, 6-point gap to Forest, 7-point gap to Everton. When you're a team that doesn't win at all, it's insurmountable, essentially. Real quick, give me your take on Brighton. What the hell's going on?
No idea. They can't even like 0.81 XG. Burnley was like 1.7, I think. Like they just kind of worked them. And again, I haven't looked at the possession stats. It's 56-44 in Brighton's favor. I just don't think they're getting quality chances. Like, they're getting shots on goal, but like 3 big chances for Burnley to 0 for Brighton. I don't know. I just think it probably is a situation where like Matoma's out. He's like obviously a big player. They're stretched all year because they had like European soccer. They have a lot of like new players and stuff because that's what they do. They bring new guys in. It just, again, like, it's a good season for them. Like, we cannot hold them to the standard of like a top 8 team like that has always been there. It's the first time they were there last year, probably. I don't know for sure, but at least in a while. It's still a really good year, but like just in the context of last year, it just kind of seems like a step back. But I still give them ultimately the benefit of the doubt always.
Yeah, look, top 10 finish for Brighton. I think if you even ask their fans, they're like stoked about it. They'd love to get back into Europe. But let's say they finish 10th. They don't have to worry about the fixture congestion of this year, next year, and then they make a battle again for 7th or 6th, especially with Europe expanding and getting more teams in. I think it'd be really interesting for them. City, 5-1 over Luton. Own goal, which also just hilariously bad own goal that is not Hashioka's fault at all in the 2nd minute. Kovacic got one in the 64th. Holland a pen in the 76th. Barkley gets one back to make it 3-1. And then Doku in the 87th and Vardiol in 90+3. 5-1 win for City. I'm hypercritical of this team. And I talked about that on the Thursday pod that I was on for that Shades of Blue podcast, that I think this is one of the worst coaching job years that Pep's ever had. Brother, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I texted you. I don't know if I can defend Haaland anymore. And I'm talking in the context of us losing to Real Madrid too. I can't pretend like, hey, let's not talk about this.
Right now, he is just very one trick pony,
and that trick's not working.
You guys aren't that, and you guys also are not playing to the trick.
Well, yeah, we're not setting the trick up.
Yes, and it makes the profile of him as a player look even worse when he is not doing anything. And you know, I can't believe I'm going to plug somebody else, but we always do plug JLA. Like, I thought his video about it was very good. Shocker. And he, you know, it's a little bit too much people talking about him being terrible or like not a very good player at all, but it is like noticeable, and it, you know, I don't think people should be like ignoring it. I think it should be something that you guys, especially City, like Pep and their fans and stuff, should be like, we need more from him. We expect more from him. And the team around him as well. It's not just his fault.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a combination of like him not adapting too, though, honestly. Weirdly enough, I know he's getting hacked. I know that he's like getting the Shaq treatment down low and has a man on him at all times. And like me thinking to myself right now, like, is he causing Phil Foden to have a great season? I don't think so. I actually think we're not taking advantage of how much attention he's getting in the right ways. And that's why I think a lot of the blame should be on Pep, to be honest with you. I think that this, especially with these results this week, there's no excuse for us not to have a back-to-back treble.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to, though, obviously.
No. Yeah. No. But it's crazy. So I think we should talk about this more next week. I think depending on what happens in that FA Cup game with Chelsea, I feel like we'll have maybe the Tuckers on too. And I think I need to come to terms with like, yo, this is not working. And the offense runs better if Julian Alvarez is up top by himself. I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah, I just don't know what you do with him now. Because even like you said that he would flourish in like the Real Madrid team, and I think the opposite, actually. Like, I think getting Mbappe and putting him through the middle would vastly like be better than Haaland there. Yeah. But again, I do agree with you on the Pep thing, because how he runs that 3-2-4-1 or whatever, like where is he supposed to go? When people like me and other people say like he is never getting the ball, he can't get on the ball, he doesn't have anyone to pass to, and when he does pass the ball, it's to the wrong person or it's nowhere near. He is playing in like a 2x2 box, and people do like step up on him. Like, that is a little bit of a blueprint as well. You get a physical defender on him and he struggles.
Oh, Rudiger. Yeah, dude.
Gabriel even was, you know, they were going back and forth, but he otherwise like kept him in check. But again, like a little bit of that congestion is a product of Pep's tactics.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
I think that you're spot on. I mean, I've even said on this pod, Julian Alvarez is a better soccer player than Haaland. Haaland's a better scorer than Julian Alvarez, probably. Kylian Mbappe is a better soccer player than Julian Alvarez. So undoubtedly, like, I think Kylian Mbappe is actually a better player. Like, just flat out. It reminds me of something I'm going to say that's controversial for a few people that listen to this pod. Like, the greatest basketball player of all time is LeBron. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. And Kevin Durant might be the best scorer. Michael Jordan might be a better scorer than LeBron, whatever. He is to ever pick up a basketball and play the game, he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want my take, but
Why not?
actually you would agree, but I'm just saying, like, I would take it a step further. He's the best at everything. He scored the most points. He dropped 23, 9 and 9 in the playing game. Like I literally saw, so I'm not 100% positive about this, but I literally saw a tweet where it's like, when the playing game was happening and LeBron said, like, whoever came up with this shit needs to be fired. And then, like, 4 of the last 5 years they've had the playing game, I'm pretty sure they would have been in all except for one of those years.
1 or 2, I think. I think you're right.
Yeah. So like, it's not like he's benefited every year like they were trying to imply. Like, they would have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then last year they were a 7 seed and they made the conference final. So like, whatever, I don't care. He put up 41 stat points the other night. Like, it's absurd.
My man, this guy brought a Cleveland Cavaliers basketball team to the finals with big contributions from Sasha Pavlovich and Danielle Marshall. And that's all I'll leave it at. Also, I really miss, like, I have been enjoying this TikTok version of, like, dissecting the rap beef. I did really like the 2-week span where you were just sending me 90s videos of 90s NBA.
We done with the 90s.
And it was just washed. It was so bad.
It was really bad. It is funny though, because like it gets to the point too where, like, there are people who are genuinely being like, this is not good basketball, and they're like pointing stuff out. And then there's like one clip of like Jordan shooting and hitting the fucking backboard, like the side of the backboard. And then there's like 100 people using that exact clip going like, yo, I didn't know it was this bad. And then, which is just like like, you know, obviously like cherry picking, but it is very funny to see. And then it's also funny to see like real hardcore NBA guys, like, who watch Jordan play and like think he's good and have like otherwise very like normal takes, get so fucking mad at people just saying that the 90s was terrible. It's like, I saw a guy lose his mind on a live because of that shit. It was killing me.
I mean, the proof's in the video. Forest 2-2 against Wolves. It was the Morgan Gibbs White derby. Cunha in the 40th opened the scoring for Wolves. MGW got one back and was very disrespectful to the Wolves fans when celebrating to tie it up. Danilo gave the lead to Forest, but Wolves fought back. Cunha again in the 62nd. Michael, I'm actually starting to think that City signed the wrong Matthias. We should have got Cunha and we got Nunez.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, whatever. Forest are still in the dogfight for relegation, obviously. This isn't enough. I would have liked to see Gary O'Neill pull this one out, but you and I, big Morgan Gibbs White stands to the detriment of Dylan, so fine with the result, you know?
Absolutely. MGW, he has to get out of there, because like, if they stay up, it'll be by the skin of their teeth this year, but it might not be, you know, much longer, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He needs to get out of there. He needs to get to a big team and fucking ball out, because he's very good.
Another player that needs to get to a big team. Bournemouth 2, United 2. Dom Solanke in the 16th minute with a pretty sick goal to give the Cherries the lead. Bruno Fernandes tied it up in the 31st. Kluivert takes the lead back for Bournemouth in the 36th. And then Bruno converts on a pen in the 65th minute. Cherries at home share a point with the mighty United.
Did you see the pen?
Yeah.
Like the handball.
Yeah.
Definitely hand.
Yes.
Like, it was a handball, but
harsh.
Bullshit.
Yes. Yes.
Again, I've been the most outspoken on VAR and handballs across the league. I get it, but like that is an example of like, if we're rewriting the rule and we're going back through every call this year, wherever the line is on handballs like that, that's where I'm drawing it, because like I don't know. If I was a Bournemouth fan, I would be furious. I'd be so mad.
I'd be furious, but at the same time, Bournemouth are one of those teams that, as Craig eloquently outlined in the summer, they've kind of come from obscurity to be in the Prem and be a mainstay now in the Prem. This is like such a sick result for them. Tying United, they're going to end up beating them at some point because United stink. But like
They beat them at United this year.
That's what I meant. They already did it, you know? They took 4 points from Man United.
I don't know who it was. It might have been Solanke, but I'm not sure. But they said after the game that they were frustrated to only get a point.
They should be.
Which is,
I think they're a better team.
Which that's actually not in the context of this game, especially. You know, that is not at all an unreasonable thing to say, because they cooked them.
Yeah, totally agree. I love watching the Cherries. I hope we get Craig back on in the summer. Maybe it'd be great to talk to him. Shock result, kind of, because both these teams are anomaly. West Ham 0, Fulham 2. Pereira in the 9th and 72nd. You said it best when we were texting about this. You just said, man, I cannot figure Fulham out.
Yeah, I think I literally said like 2 weeks. I have to look at Fulham's results, but they had lost the game. They lost the game to Forest at Forest, and I was like, okay, you know, totally. Forest have everything they play for. Fulham really don't. I've been kind of saying Forest should get some results here because they need to stay up. And the 1 week I picked Fulham to beat them, they didn't. And then at Fulham against Newcastle, so I know Newcastle aren't very good on the road. They lose. So then I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're just kind of done right now and they don't really care. So then they go to West Ham, who I think West Ham are in a better position, still fighting for top 6, top 7, and they just pump them. I just don't know. I don't know how to read them anymore. Whatever I guess just do the opposite.
The weird thing about Fulham, though, is they have players like Pereira, Iwobi even, and like Polina. Like
Muniz is great.
Muniz. Yeah. It's not that we forgot that they're on the team, but like you can have this result where he had both goals, Pereira, and you're just like, oh yeah, that could happen. Like you just kind of forget that could happen type of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think too, like Timothy Castagne is good. Anthony Robinson is going to literally be their player of the year this year, probably. And then like Adarabioyo and Bassi, I think have been back there all year, and they've both been very, very solid.
Yeah.
I think Bassi had a tough year last year, and then Adarabioyo's kind of been up and down, but they've both been great. Leno's a great keeper. Like that's the thing. I think you look at this team and you're kind of just, you know, nobody stands out like so much.
Mm-hmm.
But they all are like, if you look at them individually, you're like, oh, he's good. Like he has good quality, has good skill. Like, and then they all just kind of come together and they can figure it out against anybody. Like we got them at Fulham, and I'm terrified.
They're like mid in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. 6-0, Chelsea over Everton. Palmer in the 13th, 18th, 29th. Jackson in the 44th. Palmer again in the 64th. Gilchrist in the 90th. Cole Palmer for Everton 0.
Yeah. I mean, can we just talk about the pen?
Yeah, so it's the only thing to talk about.
Yeah. I listen. We both hate Chelsea more than pretty much any team. When you win a game 6-0, there's not really any negative things you can say about the game. You know, Cole Palmer is your best player. I think I saw if they didn't have him, they'd be on like 24 points this year.
Yeah.
Just over relegation. But it is like crazy how Nicholas Jackson, by the way, who has a goal. I guess he might not have had the goal when that happened, right?
He did.
No,
he
64th
did.
minute. Okay,
yeah.
So he already had a goal.
Yeah.
So like, I guess if I'm Nani Madueke, I'm kind of like, I want to score. So I'm a little more lenient to like that and just being like pumped up about it. You can't act like that. first off. And then for Cole Palmer just kind of be chilling, and then once they get the ball, he just takes it and pushes them both away. Like, just insane attitudes going all around.
He's the only mentally stable winner on that team.
Yeah, I think probably you could say Thiago Silva.
Fair, but I think he's an old mentally stable winner.
Yeah, he's not. Yes, but he is like the only leadership on that team.
Yes,
and
yes.
I even think I saw somebody talking about it. They were like, Gusto initially was kind of thought it was a joke, and then he realized like, oh shit, they're serious.
They're mad.
And then
they're mad.
And then Thiago Silva had to come over and be like, listen, neither one of you are taking the penalty. Like, that's crazy.
Gallagher tried to figure it out too, but yeah.
Yeah. I also do love the attitude of Cole Palmer that has 3 goals and he's like, I'm taking this. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I'm gonna take the
Fuck
penalty.
That. He's probably like, I have
100%.
to deal with your bullshit at practice all the time. Every chance I get to put another one in the back of the net, I'm taking it right now.
100%. So I don't blame him at all. I guess the only other way we could go with this is Everton are fucking terrible.
Bad.
Very bad.
All right, Michael, we got to get to it. I apologize. Liverpool 0, Palace 1, SA in the 14th. All right, are you putting your team to bed? What's going on here?
Hold on, I gotta find. Here we go. This is so 70% possession. Again, we just said earlier, it's like, just that doesn't matter. No one cares. Okay, I don't care how much of the ball you have. I would sit here and I'd be like, 6 shots on target, 4 chances, 4 big chances, 4 missed, obviously. 21 total shots, 281 xG. That's all great, and you could sit here and be like, we totally dominated the game and we didn't have anything to show for it. Crystal Palace had a 2 xG. Okay, 5 shots on target, 8 total, 3 big chances. They only missed 2. They scored the 1, which was like easy. I mean, so easy for them to score. So it's not like we were, so unlucky that, we couldn't get a result and they had like a counter goal. Like, they were putting it to us as well. I really don't know. I really don't know what the fix is here, because the front 3, whoever it's been, has been terrible the past month. I watched, 4 guys have basically open goals. I watched another guy who had essentially an open goal try to cross it back across the goal to nobody instead of shooting, which is, I don't understand that. I don't like piling on any of them, because I think that you're allowed to like not be good for a little bit. You're not supposed to be good all the time, 100% of the time. All of them are just shit right now. And even with the Atalanta game today, we won 1-0 on a penalty. Like, we haven't scored from open play, and I think I saw like 6 hours. Yes, of game time, which is insane.
That's
and
wild.
I think that as much as I think it's just kind of like a weird take or whatever, but that first Man United game where we lost in the FA Cup killed us. And we played Brighton at home, and that was a scrappy game. Sheffield United, where there's no excuse to lose at all. And then it really started the second Man United game, where we get the first goal, and then we can't do anything after that. We put up unreal numbers. We have all these shots, go down, and then get bailed out by a penalty. And I say bailed out, it was a penalty, but still, you didn't score from open play, and then you just go and lose.
I was going to say, we say it all the time. There's no worse feeling when you're watching your team and you get to the end of the game and you're just like, somebody please fall down.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
And again, like that first Atalanta game, we lost 3-0. We gave up 3.22 in XG. Like, we weren't defending very well either. Like, yeah, we had some chances here and there. the second Atalanta game, 1-0 after 7 minutes. I think in the second half, our XG was 0.04. You would think that with everything we have done in Europe, regardless of the competition, Champions League, Europa League, and just like our mentality coming back in games this year, especially, you'd think that like we would really mount some kind of like big push. We couldn't get anywhere, couldn't do anything against them. I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, the Crystal Palace result was just watching your team miss chance after chance after chance, person after person. It's not one person, it's all of them right now. And it's just frustrating. And yes, I absolutely think it's over. We're gonna have a parade for the Carabao Cup, and that's it. It's especially over because the only chance we had was if you and Arsenal both were still in Champions League.
Yeah.
And you had like a little bit more congestion and you had to rotate a little bit. But I think we have solidified third place, truthfully.
Yeah.
I think we're going to lose again.
It isn't looking good for any of the teams. I'm not going to lie. Like, as a City fan, I just went through my like bullshit a minute ago, but it's really not looking good for you guys. And it's not looking good for Arsenal, who we can get into if you're ready.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm really not. I've always been somebody who would go after my team if I thought they were playing bad. There really isn't much to say about this Crystal Palace game because like we didn't do anything other than miss a shit ton of chances and not score.
Yeah, for sure. Arsenal 0, Villa 2. Leon Bailey and Ollie Watkins with the goals, 84th and 87th minute. The quality of opponent, Palace to Villa, it must be said, like Villa's a good team. They kind of had a stinker today, but pulled it out at the end in their conference league, so they're moving on. Only team in Europe to get to the semis. Only team in England to get to the semis in a European competition. That's what I was trying to say. But, brother, we talked about this off pod, maybe on pod a little bit. I mentioned it when I was, again, on that Thursday pod with those guys at Shade the Blue. We've been big Gary O'Neill stands for Coach of the Year. There is no reason Unai Emery should not be part of that conversation too.
I actually think, and I think this is unfortunate, if he does get top 4 and they like, especially if they win the Europa Conference League and he gets top 4, I think he absolutely gets it.
He has to.
Yeah. I think there's a strong argument even if he gets 5th. But
yeah.
I think if he does get Champions League, then Gary O'Neill did a very, very good job where that team was expected to be, and that shouldn't go unnoticed 100%. Yeah. But the like accolade of getting Champions League will push him over the edge, and I think he'll win it.
Yeah. This team is good too. And to be honest, there's definite pieces that I think are gonna maybe get taken, but they still have so much money in the bank that I think they're just gonna rip and replace. I actually think they have sustainable success more than the Brighton of last year that we mentioned earlier, more than I think they're in a better place than Newcastle is right now. And Newcastle has, like you said, all the money. Can't spend it, but all the money. Like, this front office and this coaching job for this team should probably be studied.
This is what I'll say though about that is like if you make the top 4 and you're in the Champions League and you have like Unai Emery who has won European Cups, Villa is a big team. Like they're not the biggest team, but they're a large team.
It's more sleeping giant.
If you're like Ollie Watkins and you're in the Champions League, why do you leave?
Dude, honestly, you know how screwed up my brain is? I'm not even thinking of Ollie Watkins.
You're thinking of like Douglas Luiz?
I'm thinking of Douglas Luiz and whatchamacallit, my guy.
Leon Bailey?
No.
Yuri Tielemans?
No, I think I'm thinking of Konsa. 26 though. I don't know.
I mean, but I'm saying if you're any of those guys,
yeah, no, you're right.
You're gonna play at the top level.
Yeah.
And
No, you're
you're
right.
going to
Like,
be in an environment that you are comfortable in. And like, sure, if you don't win the Champions League, which, statistically you won't, but only one team can, and you get 6 next year, then yeah, maybe you leave after that. But like, especially next year, if you get 4th, like I wouldn't leave. I would just roll another year.
yeah. I mean, dude, I'm now realizing this because I watched this game and I don't know why I didn't see this in the moment. They won 2-0 away from home and Douglas Luiz was suspended. Like
Yep.
that went totally over my head.
That's why Morgan Rogers was playing.
Yeah. Big Morgs. Yeah, man, I'm so impressed with this team. They're tough. They obviously caught us earlier in the year. We got them back in the second half though. But that was this has been it's been fun to watch a team break into the top 4. And I know we got to do it with Newcastle last year and they were fun to watch. Like I kind of hope that this is the norm, is like now these European spots and these Champions League spots, you're going to get one rogue team that's just pushing it this year. What's your thoughts? If you think you're dead in the water, what do you think's up with Arsenal?
I think they have a better chance just because it'll completely depend on where they are mentally after the Bayern game.
Yeah.
If there's camaraderie, if they decide to all get around each other for that Premier League, then I think they could absolutely win out. I think you guys could absolutely win out too. Especially how you're going to react after the Real Madrid game. I will say again, probably is completely biased on how I enjoy watching games play. To have watched both legs of both teams' games against Real Madrid and Bayern, again, I think you guys have a better chance, one, because you've been there, and two, because of how you guys played and like how you guys pushed the envelope, as opposed to like that second Bayern Arsenal game. Like I don't even know why they were out there, truthfully.
Yeah. Shouldn't even have showed
And
up.
I don't know. I just hate how they play. And I hate how they play because I don't think Saka and Havertz and Martinelli are as good as their fans think they are, but they are good players, especially Saka. And like to see him basically just like almost go unused for like long periods of the game is just crazy to me. Because even when he's not playing well, like we still get the ball to like Salah infinite times.
Yeah.
Just because he is the guy, and he, until he leaves, he will be the guy. And like that might be good or bad, whatever. But at least like we like try to force the issue to him. And like sometimes I just watch Saka like run up and down the sideline as the game is happening completely on the other side. And I'm just like, why don't you try to get him involved? And like, I don't know. They're just very frustrating to watch. And like, if I was a fan of them, like I would just have to be jumping through so many hoops in my head to like make it better than it was right now.
Yeah. Let's do a quick little assessment. You can say easy, hard, whatever. Away at Wolves is their next match.
Hard.
Home against Chelsea.
Hard.
Away against Tottenham.
Hard.
Home against Bournemouth.
They'll win that easy.
Yeah. Away against United.
I'll tell you what, man. I can't say anything about United. Like I actually have to stop myself from even like commenting because you fucking never know.
Yeah.
You really don't ever know.
And then
So
home
I will
against Everton.
say 50-50.
Yeah.
They'll kick the shit out of Everton.
Oh man.
So they could win all those games by like 2-3 goals, no doubt. But they could also get into a game where you're going to look up in the 75th minute and it's 0-0.
Yeah.
And then I'm just not sure that they can pull it out all the time.
It would be wild to see Tottenham put the final nail in the coffin.
It'd be wild to see Chelsea do it too.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. All right, let's get into predictions. Bad week for me. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't. 4-6. I went 4-6. Michael, you were sitting at a 5-5. I think Dylan had the best week. He is 6-4. Dylan's 3 off of being 500, which we love to see. And then Nick with a 2-8. So as it stands, I think I mentioned this last week, Michael. I think you clinched. I don't think there's any way anyone's going to catch you, but you're 178 and 145. I'm 168 and 155. Nick 165 and 158. Dylan 160 and 163. Come on, Dylan. Up the Dylans. All right. We got 2 games in the FA Cup, and that's going to cause 3 disruptions in the week, but there's still some Prem games. Let's start it off. Luton hosting Brentford. Michael.
This is a draw.
I got Luton. I want a little chaos.
I think Luton is the right pick, but anytime these games happen, I've just come. I don't know if this is true. Maybe one day I'll check that out too. Anytime these like lower table clashes at the end of the year happen, and you want to go with the home team because like they need to win one and they're at home, it's always a draw.
Sheffield United hosting Burnley. Who you got?
I was about to say Sheffield United, but this is also a draw.
Yeah, I think you're the safe pick here. I'm taking Burnley. I want to see it. I want to see a little craziness. I think Sheffield's the one that's.
I don't want to see either of them though.
I mean, I like Vinny.
I don't. So
Yeah.
I'll go.
All right, we talked about it earlier. Wolves hosting Arsenal.
God, it's so dependent on where they're at right now, like where they're at in their heads.
Yeah,
I got Wolves.
you're gonna take them?
I think that's one of the worst games you could have off of like disappointment. Double disappointment too, by the way. Like Aston Villa and then Bayern. I think going to the Molineux, the only one that would be worse would like be going to Spurs right now. But I think going to the Molineux is going to be tough because one, you can't get up for it. Actually, I think this is the worst. You can't get up for it like you can get up for a London derby. It's just like we got to go to Wolves. If we don't win, it's absolutely terrible. And if we do win, we should have. So like it's just a loss.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Arsenal anyway. Everton facing Forest. I got Everton.
God,
Long
they just
pauses
lost 6,
for you in this.
They just lost 6. This is tough, dude. They just lost 6-0. Forest had like played a good game. I just said if it's a lower table matchup, this is a great lower table week, by the way.
Yeah, big time. There's 6-pointers everywhere.
I got a draw.
Safe. Villa is going to host Bournemouth. Unfortunately, we love the Cherries, but I think Villa's still riding high, and even higher now that they lost to Lille in regular time, but won the penalty shootout to move on to the semis.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
When I go like this, do I disappear?
No.
I don't? Okay. I got Aston Villa. I'm just gonna look at something while we're doing this though, for the people.
I thought you had a joke or some shit.
No. I don't do the jokes. Dylan does those.
You wait till the end of this pod.
I got Villa.
Yeah. All right. Palace hosting West Ham. I got West Ham just because.
I have West Ham as well. We did just lose to Crystal Palace, but I just can't do that to myself.
Yeah. And then Fulham's hosting Liverpool. I got you guys. Hopefully bounce back game.
I also have us. I just want to say, you calling me being safe on these picks, if you parlayed these picks all draws, it's a plus 46.90.
Yeah, I know. But let's be honest here. We've been doing this for a long time. These results tend to be just draws.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's a great value. I'm going to throw $1 on it and make $70.
There you go. Michael still hasn't clocked in for his first day as a pharmacist, so the unemployment diaries continue. All right, we got 2 FA Cup games this weekend as well. let's just get into it so we can add these in there. First one, Coventry and Man United. I'm taking United.
Yeah, I'll take United. Even though it is funny, the dude from Coventry literally said, like, it's United. Like, if it was either the other ones, I don't think we had a chance, but because it's United, I think we do.
Yeah, I remember saying that and sending that to Nick as I read it. And then Chelsea, City. I got City, obviously.
I got City as well.
All right, good app, Michael. I know you don't do jokes, but can you get us out of here with a phrase, a ancient Japanese wisdom?
I don't think I can.
No?
You want me to find something?
Don't leave computer next to girlfriend's open water bottle.
Something funny to say. Let's see the first thing that comes up. I'm so glad. I don't know. These aren't very funny.
All
yeah,
right, well,
I guess don't ever think that, like, anything that might harm you or your things isn't 100% your fault, because it is.
Also, I'll leave us with this. Don't ever think that the pixie dust or the voodoo curse or whatever you want to describe it as that Real Madrid has over the Champions League is ever done.
Yes, that's actually such a good point, because I think, one, I wanted to shout you out and I forgot because then I was gonna do my parlay. You, with the call of the week, calling Aston Villa beat Arsenal. Good job, by the way, because I was like, no shot. So good call. But you actually, in the Champions League against Real Madrid, they're the only team, and I told you this, they're the only team where home away does not matter, who they have injured, who they have available does not matter. You have to beat them senseless over two legs to go through against them. And if you don't, you will not make it.
And I'm not going to lie, I thought we had the formula last year where it was like, just tie him at the Bernabeu and then beat him at home. And we just didn't show up for that game. Like, just, we weren't prepared.
No.
So, hey, like, subscribe, share, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We're not really on Twitter. TikTok.
Not at all.
Wherever you get your...
Not even kind of.
Not even kind of. We don't even fuck with X. We actually got more cred on Threads. But, yeah, listen to the pod, share it with someone. That's the NAFTAA Podcast. We're out. I need Dylan back. I need him back. These no jokes at the end are bad.
I need a computer.
See you, folks.
The NAFTAA Podcast.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.